Welcome once again to the Sage, and thank you for being with us on this journey. Today, we're back on a wonderfully exciting part of the journey. Today, more than perhaps ever in the past, we are getting into a momentous topic and time in the history of our beloved country. We on the Sage have of necessity to be a part of the political process that is ongoing, out of a fervent desire to do our little bit in bringing out the best people to lead our country to the promised land, to lead our country to greatness. It is a great country. That is the way the good Lord created it. And before I go on, let me take you back a little bit. 9 months ago, we on the Sage felt impelled. Those were my words, that I felt compelled to issue a call of action. Please do go back, if you've never seen it, to view that episode aired in April, May this year, in which I called on all good-meaning Nigerians to wake up to the fact that we Nigerians, the vast majority of us, are good people. That we have a great country. That is, it is our duty, our God-given right, to make that reality a real living reality for the vast majority of our people. We asked that everybody come exercise their electoral, their civil rights and vote. Vote this time round for somebody we think, for people we think have integrity. For people, for leaders that love this country, that believe in this country as they should. For leaders who have genuinely come out to serve, to lead, to make things good. We ask that we put tribe and tongue and our various differences behind us. We called on all of you to only vote in people who genuinely are going in there to do their best. We described the characteristics that we thought mark this, may I call them ordained people? We talked about integrity. We talked about patriotism. We talked about healing. People coming out to heal our wounds. We talked about knowledge. So many more. At the time we put out that call, people thought we were dreaming, we were idealists. And yet, today, we see the movement. These are indeed exciting times. Never, I really believe, at least in my 7 decades in this world, never have Nigerians risen to that challenge in such a remarkable manner. We are seen as never before. More and more of us, those people I call the silent majority, saying, no, this time round, the candidate must show us that he or she is genuinely going out there to lead for the right reasons. But I say to you all, my viewers, my brothers and sisters out there, it is just the beginning. We have birthed and begun something that must be brought to its rightful fruition. Come 2023, the good Lord willing, and He is willing, only the finest of us will emerge as leaders of this country. But finest, not because we're so street smart, finest because we genuinely care for our people, that we have the capacity and the capability to lead our people, and that we have determined to come with vigor to lead our country to the promised land. And so, in the spirit of the movement that is on, we on the Sage have again taken the bull by the horns and taken courage to come out and say that we shall be bringing before you many of these aspiring leaders. We will give them an unbiased platform to tell you why they have come out, why they think they have what it takes, and to convince you that they sincerely believe and they sincerely intend to lead the way they should lead, to be true servants of the people, and to assure themselves and us that by the time they complete their terms in office, they can with confidence show us evidence that they have strived, they have done their best to improve the lot of the people. Stay with us as we begin this wonderful but so critically important journey. Today on the Sage, we're very, very privileged to have one of these wonderful aspiring leaders come to talk to you. We have with us, stay with us. When we come back, we will tell you who is going to be our first guinea pig. I thank you. Thank you for having stayed with us, and I won't keep you in suspense any longer. I have the singular honor and pleasure as my first guest on this political series, no other than Deacon Kawhariebie Ken Pela.
Thank you.
Who is a gubernatorial candidate on the platform of the Labour Party for Delta State. Mr. Pela, it's such a pleasure to have you on the Sage.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you very much.
It is exciting. I have talked to Mr. Pela a little, of course, before the show began, and I won't prejudice you, been truly inspired, touched with his spirituality and his sensitivity. But the show is yours, and I'm going to give you plenty of time to talk to our guests and tell them what is genuinely moving you and making you answer this call. But before I do that, let me give honor where honor is due. And apart from your name, tell our audience a little about who you are. I will do it. I will read it. I will read your bio and then you can take over.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right. Mr. Pela is an economist by qualification, an investment banker by training, and a developer and wealth creator by passion. An entrepreneur in every sense of the word. He's a thoroughbred professional with over 38 years post-qualification experience. He has a BSc in Economics and Statistics from the University of Benin and is a member of the Integrated Institute for Professional Managers with the Executive Leadership Development Certificate. He is also a certified senior human resources professional and a lead project management professional of the Institute. He started his career in banking in 1986 with the New Nigerian Bank as a management trainee, and then went through branch banking to credit management and corporate finance before leaving as the assistant corporate finance manager to join the First Interstate Merchant Bank. He left full-time banking in 1992 and has since then been involved in many other activities, entrepreneurship activities, including investment, holding, and financial services company. Indeed, a capital resource consortium limited called Capricorn. As MD and CEO of Capricorn Credit and Money Market Company, he was responsible for the setting up and running of 4 community banks, as well as several other companies, and this was in the early 1990s. As a serial entrepreneur, driven by a deep faith in God, a passion for excellence and creating wealth, and a desire to enhance lives through innovation and creativity, he went on to midwife several companies in various sectors of the economy. He is the chairman and CEO of A Token Ventures. He is head of many other companies. I won't list all of them, but we will flash them on the screen. And in addition to all these enterprises, he is an advocate of transformational leadership. Mr. Ken Pela has served in the public sector as member and acting chairman of the Governing Council of the National Institute for Sports, NIS, where he led the Management and Governing Council to develop the NIS Sports Vision, a bold, audacious mission to make the NIS a self-sufficient pillar of sports in the country. It was under his leadership that the first and only emerging athlete games, Emega Games, was held in Abuja. He was also chairman of the board of the Delta Trusts Mortgage Bank Limited and was a member of the governing council of the Delta Marine Technology Institute. Mr. Pela is an ordained deacon of the House of Grace Church and is happily married with 4 children. At this point in his life, he's making the most audacious move of all and has decided to present himself to his people in Delta State as the next governor of Delta State. Mr. Don Pela. I know a friend of his who calls him Don. Deacon Pela, you're welcome.
Thank you.
To the sage.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before I talk to Mr. Pela, let me say that we're going to explore 4 major areas in our discussion with you, but also with some other political aspirants whom we've promised to bring on the show. The first of this would be for you to tell us what you think of this our country, Nigeria. The second would be for you to tell us, in this your bid for that high position, what is this place of common good, the common good of the people in it? A third area we will explore would be for you to tell us why you think you are qualified to do so. And finally, we will ask you to tell us that when you get there, how are you going to address the needs, not of all Nigerians, of particularly of people in Delta State, but also of two particularly important groups who form a large chunk of your citizenry, young people and women, what you're going to do for them. And so let us start with the first. We on the Sage believe that perhaps the single force, most important force that should drive your coming out is love of country and love of state. Please tell us, do you have it, and what does it mean for you?
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to be here and to express myself. What does love of country and love of state mean for me? For me, love of country is why when I am the third boy in a family of 10. We are 6 boys and 4 girls. I'm the third boy and 7th child. My first 2 brothers, after high school, went to the US. The girls didn't go, but it was expected that me as a boy was to go. And I stayed in Nigeria. I schooled here. I have worked here all my life. And for the singular reason that I believe that there's something in this country, I jokingly say that this is where God is. This is where God is. And I say that if I can't make it here, I can't make it anywhere else. And God has been good. I got a good job. And so when I could go abroad on holiday, and people would wonder how, the sense had been, you would, you expect to go there and bring. But I worked here, I grew up here, worked here, and I have a tremendous amount of love for this country. And so when things have been going down over the last 30, 40 years, Nigeria was much, 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 much better. I believe that it is necessary to stay back and correct it. And if we can't do it, then we're lost. We have young children today. My children are beginning to say, my first 2 children are abroad. I never really wanted them to go abroad until after their first degrees, at least. But my son played football, soccer, and wanted to go abroad because there was not much hope, so to speak, for one who has a passion for soccer here. So he went abroad, and he's doing well. And the sister eventually, who did her first degree, eventually had to go for health reasons. My third child, a girl, studied here, her first degree and her master's. But now, because of how bad the country is getting, everybody is thinking about going away. If we don't do something about saving this country, we will have no country. We'll have no country. So for some of us, it's critical that we save this country, that we do something to turn back, the slide that we have. I love this country too much to want to just let it slide. That is my love for country. That, of course, translates to my love for my state. I believe that the kind of resources that Delta has, Delta shouldn't be where it is. I'll just give us one example. Several years ago, I looked at, this was as far back as 2006, 2007, thereabouts. And I looked at the budget of Delta State. It was about 150 billion. And they would say that the recurrent expenditure alone was about 50% of the budget, which is about 70, 80 billion. And I wondered why. When Cross River, at that same time, had a budget of 39 billion for both recurrent and capital. What was the difference? What did Delta have in terms of recurrent expenditure that Cross River State did not have, that would warrant our spending almost 3 times what they were spending for the whole budget just on recurrent expenditure? That told me that if the state was well run, if the right things were done, you could manage 20 billion or thereabout for recurrent, and you have 130 billion to transform the place. That's the kind of example that I would like to point to. There's so much that can be done to change things. And so I'm doing this because I believe I have a call on my life to do it. And I believe that there's a lot that can be done to change things. That's why I'm putting myself forward.
I hear you, and I find them very moving. But when I say love, let me again, I want you to speak to the fact. Let me say that the Delta, is a mini Nigeria, the way almost every state in this country is a mini Nigeria, in our diversity. We are diverse. Without being an expert at all in it, I will know they're the Urhobos, and so on and so forth within Delta. And the way human beings live together is, acrimony is part of that relationship. And therefore, for every state, as well as for the Nigeria as an entity, there is, do you, as a leader, as a potential, recognize the fact that these divisions exist? And do you see a need for healing and uniting?
Yes. Now, you're right about saying Delta is like a mini Nigeria, where they say Nigeria has, 350 different ethnic groups? Delta has 7. We have the Urhobo, we have the Ukwani, we have the Oshimili, the Anyocha, we have Ika, we have Ijo, Isoko, Ishekiri. Now, I believe that the key to harmony, fairness, equity, and justice, if you do the right things, fairness, equity, and justice. If you do the right things, maybe I should, in saying this, give you a little bit of an idea of my vision for Delta. I have a vision to build a state where righteousness, harmony, and prosperity reigns. And when I talk about righteousness, because I'm a deacon, people will automatically think I'm talking about church. No. Righteousness simply means doing the right thing. All right? Accountability and integrity. Fairness, equity, and justice. The rule of law. So we believe that if we enthrone righteousness in governance, there will be harmony. It would be very difficult except the person just wants to cause trouble. And even if he just wants to cause trouble, because there are people like that, even if he just wants to cause trouble, by the time you simply point to, but this is the right thing, he will back off. So once you enthrone righteousness, there will be harmony. And when you have those two, you create an environment where prosperity thrives. So, yes, I do recognize the diversity of our people. And the way I intend to handle that diversity is to ensure that we enthrone righteousness, we enthrone fairness, equity, and justice in all we do. And we believe that when that is done, there will be peace and harmony.
I agree with you. And I also think that when that is done, then people begin to feel as one.
True.
And people are then motivated to work jointly as people from Delta State for the good of Delta State.
True. Very true. Very true.